Welcome back to the Kingdom Podcast, where we break down mindset, psychology, and the habits that shape your results, your identity, and ultimately, your life. I'm your host, Matthew Robb, and in today's episode, we're talking about something subtle, something most people never see, but something that quietly controls the direction of their entire life. Today, we're breaking down the identity trap that keeps you stuck. This is the trap that no one talks about. Most people think they're stuck because they lack discipline, or motivation, or clarity. But that's rarely the real reason. Most people are stuck because they're still being loyal to an old version of themselves, an identity that no longer fits, but still feels familiar. You don't stay stuck because you can't change. You stay stuck because changing would require letting go of who you think you are, and that's uncomfortable. Identity is powerful, but it can also be a cage. Identity is useful. It gives you consistency. It gives you predictability. But when identity becomes rigid, it becomes a prison. You start saying things like, "That's just how I am. I've always been this way. I'm not the type of person who does that. I've tried before, it never works for me." Those statements sound harmless, but they're not facts, they're contracts. And every time you repeat them, you reinforce the same outcomes. Most identities are built unintentionally. They're shaped by past failures, emotional moments, things people said to you, roles you played just to survive, patterns that once protected you. At some point, you adopted a story about yourself. And even when the story stops serving you, you keep living from it. Not because it's true, but because it's familiar. Here's the truth most people never hear. Change doesn't fail because it's hard. It fails because it threatens identity. When you try to become more disciplined, your old identity resists. When you try to raise your standards, your old identity fights back. When you try to step into leadership, your old identity whispers doubt. Not because you're incapable, but because the old identity is trying to survive. Your brain is designed to protect identity. That's why you self-sabotage progress, you return to old habits, you quit right when things are starting to work. You feel uncomfortable when growth begins. It's not fear of failure, it's fear of losing yourself. Even if that version of you isn't happy. Here's the real danger. The identity that once protected you can become the reason that you never grow. What once kept you safe now keeps you small. And staying loyal to who you were will cost you who you could become. That's the trap. Breaking that trap doesn't start with motivation. It starts with awareness. You have to see the pattern before you can interrupt it. Ask yourself, who have I been trying to protect? What identity am I defending? Who would I have to become to build the life I want? What version of me needs to be retired? You don't need to destroy the old version. You need to outgrow it. Identity isn't something you discover once. It's something you update, just like software. New season, new standards. New vision, new behavior. New future, new identity. Every time you choose differently, you send a signal to your brain. This is who I am now. Here's what most people don't expect. Growth feels awkward at first. The new identity doesn't feel natural. It feels forced. It feels uncomfortable. That doesn't mean it's wrong. It means it's new. Every version of you that now feels normal was once unfamiliar. Consistency creates familiarity. Repetition creates identity. You don't need a breakdown to change. You don't need permission. You don't need a perfect moment. You just need a decision. A decision to stop living from an outdated story. A decision to stop defending a version of yourself that no longer aligns with your future. So as you move forward, remember this. You are not stuck. You are not attached. And the moment you loosen your grip on who you were, you create space for who you're becoming. If this episode hit home and you're ready to step into a new identity with higher standards, discipline, and clarity, I invite you to join us inside the Kingdom Training Academy on School, a place for people just like you who are breaking old patterns, rewriting their identities, and building a future that they're proud of. The link to this community will be in the description below. Until next time, stay intentional, stay grounded, and keep building your kingdom.